All right, let's jump right into this explainer and kick off a highly immersive thought experiment that is going to completely shatter our standard relationship with time. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating concept known as the 10-second architect. And trust me, it's a wild ride. We're going to go from the absolute thrilling heights of total control all the way down into the profound depths of existential isolation. And it's all based on one seemingly simple premise.
I want you to really, truly think about this for a second. What if you possessed this very quiet, highly localized form of godhood? Now, we aren't talking about seeing decades into the future to predict the fate of global empires or, read ancient prophecies. Nothing like that. We are talking about exactly 10 precise seconds of absolute foresight. How exactly would that tiny micro-interval of precognition fundamentally rewrite the rules of your reality? Well, let's explore how this power would actually manifest in your day-to-day life.
Section 1. A fracture in time, the mechanics of precognition.
So, this fracture of your linear relationship with time, it doesn't happen through some spectacular, hallucinatory cosmic vision. It's actually far more grounded and, frankly, far more disorienting at first, resulting in what's essentially a double-exposed reality. Just imagine walking down a bustling city street, or even just sitting in a quiet room, and your consciousness permanently splits into this high-definition dual stream. The chaotic, unpredictable friction of everyday human existence, it's entirely stripped away. You suddenly become the only actor in the room who is holding the script for the immediate present. You've memorized the upcoming page, while literally everyone else is still improvising.
To truly grasp this, let's contrast a normal timeline with the 10-second timeline. In a normal human experience, you watch a porcelain mug fall off a table, and then you see it shatter on the floor, right? But in your new reality, you vividly see that mug shatter into a dozen pieces before it even gets bumped off the counter. You hear the terrifying screech of car brakes before the driver has even registered the danger or hit the pedal. You are living concurrently in the present and exactly 10 seconds in the future.
Moving on to Section 2. The economic cheat code, exploiting the chronological advantage. Because once you get past that initial shock, you realize this hyper-focused foresight gives you an unprecedented edge. You instantly become an unstoppable force in any high-stakes landscape. Zero. That is exactly the amount of mathematical risk you take on in high-frequency digital markets, or day trading, when you have a 10-second window of absolute certainty. Just imagine it. You could execute massive capital moves right before a microcrash. You could harvest massive immediate profits from sudden algorithmic spikes, all because you were looking at the finalized data 10 seconds before anyone else on the trading floor even blinks. It is quite literally the ultimate economic cheat code.
But hey, it goes way beyond just finance. Think about the applications for mastering digital content in live media broadcasting. If you're creating content or negotiating in real time, you can read the immediate psychological and emotional feedback of your environment before your words even clear your throat. You know exactly how a sharp piece of commentary or a sudden shift in narrative pacing is going to land. This allows you to seamlessly calibrate your delivery, maximizing audience retention and manipulating human attention spans with a terrifying precision. And to the outside world, this flawless execution just looks like pure, unadulterated genius.
Which brings us to Section 3. Functional invincibility, the supernatural reflex.
Because when you can see immediate outcomes, the whole concept of a surprise accident completely ceases to exist. Let's walk through this cold, mechanical process of survival. Whether you're navigating dense, hazardous urban traffic or working around automated industrial machinery, you are essentially immune to sudden danger. Step 1. A high-pressure line ruptures, or maybe a reckless driver swerves, and you witness the entire sequence of destruction in your future stream. Step 2. You process the physical impact calmly. Step 3. You map out the perfect escape vector. And all of this happens 10 seconds before the first warning light even blinks in the present reality.
The disparity here is just breathtaking. The normal human experience leaves us as passive victims of random circumstance, heavily reliant on luck and defensive reflexes. But as the 10-second architect, you are the definitive author of immediate reality. Your physical movements take on this calm, supernatural fluidity. You effortlessly dodge localized disasters or catch falling objects with the detached, effortless confidence of a master chess player who's executing a checkmate against an opponent who can only see one move at a time. Onlookers would be completely bewildered by how graceful you are.
But this is where our thought experiment takes a much darker turn. Section 4. The psychological vault, the nightmare of foresight. Living your life in a permanent chronological lag carries a deeply, deeply isolating toll. We are talking about the complete death of spontaneity. That beautiful, chaotic spontaneity that gives human interaction its warmth. It's utterly destroyed. Think about it. You are forced to hear every single joke before the punchline is spoken out loud. You witness every flash of anger before the emotion even registers on your friend's face. You know the exact painful outcome of an intense verbal argument before the first sentence is even finished.
And this brings us to a profoundly melancholic realization from the source material. You become, quote, a silent ghost drifting through a world of living echoes. Just let the weight of that existential loneliness sink in for a second. You are always standing entirely alone in the future, just waiting for the rest of civilization to slowly, painfully catch up to where you already are. Because of this lag, a genuine conversation ceases to be a mutual exploration of the present moment. Instead, it transforms into a calculated, artificial sorting mechanism. You're continuously testing different phrases in your future stream to see which linguistic input yields the most optimal compliance from the person standing before you. It becomes this manipulative testing ground rather than a genuine human bond.
Which leads us to our final act, Section 5, Absolute Unshakable Tranquility, the Final Awakening.
Ultimately, the immense burden of this power forces a grand evolution of your personal philosophy. That dizzying sensory overload finally levels out. When you completely strip away the frantic panic of the unknown and you erase that low-grade anxiety of immediate survival that constantly clogs the processing power of the ordinary human mind, what's actually left? You are left with an elite clarity of purpose. You shed human panic entirely.
You just learn to move through the world differently. You stop being the frantic gambler who is just guessing at the next card the world is going to deal you. Instead, you evolve into the calm orchestrator. You are commanding the immediate timeline with surgical precision. You finally learn to step into a crowded room with a light, confident stride.
You enter a truly transcendent state. You experience the present with breathtaking depth because the trivial pressures of a fast-moving world just no longer apply to you. You're completely immune to sudden shocks. You're unaffected by sudden crises. You are simply, quietly mastering your empire, one perfect, predetermined 10-second block at a time.
And so we arrive at the ultimate question this explainer leaves us with. If you could somehow strip away the anxiety of immediate survival without necessarily needing the magic of a 10-second foresight, how would you choose to live right now? It really forces us to examine how much of our daily energy is consumed by the friction of the unknown and what we might actually accomplish if we could simply let that go. Take a moment to reflect on your own timeline. Until next time, keep exploring.